How's it going, everybody? CityZilla here in our lovely city of Crater Lake, and we're going to be working on our university today, as well as possibly building out our first high density neighborhood. We are definitely still quite a ways away from the milestone in which we need to get to unlock the next square. And we're still kind of holding out on our downtown area. I'm half tempted to just start building out a road layout and then we can expand it out further. But we will still focus on this area today, and then maybe we'll end up kind of transitioning that way. One of the things I want to do is build out a first high density neighborhood, and we're probably going to put a high rise ban on it just so that we don't get incredibly tall buildings. But I think it would be smart at this point to do some high density, and we could even put some along these roads. A lot of times you do have high density more on arterials like this. And so we could just get rid of some of this landscaping and do that, or we could try to create like a nice area with some high density. Um, I think if we come down here right across our little oil fields, we could build out like a university city. I think that could be interesting because we're still going to use this for school assets. And I think it would be kind of fun to do a small neighborhood within this area that was more focused on like student housing and stuff. So maybe somebody didn't want to live in a dorm, but they still wanted to live on the campus, which I know is a pretty popular thing for people, especially in some campus areas. There are really large student housing places like this, and they're normally like medium rise buildings. They're normally not super tall, but they're tall enough to where a lot of students would be able to live there. And so what we're going to do is create just something like a simple grid, and we'll probably go into a 4-lane road. And I don't want this to be too congested because we have these two intersections a little too close together. Normally you wouldn't want these to be this close. You would want it to be a little bit further. And so I think what we'll do is focus on creating just a row of residential. And so we will come into our paths and come down here, go to unmodded, go to the ground, and then do a cross street like we normally do. And then we could even do like almost like a bridge. Let's see if we can do something like that. Yeah, you know what? I think this would be nice for the area. We do need to lower this guy down though. And there we go. We have a nice connection now. It is off the ground right here though, so I'm going to see if I can just go like that. It does look like because it's so close to that key wall though that we're going to have some issues with this. So maybe we can lower this down now and just get it a little flatter. That still would be pretty steep, but these would be stairs instead of a giant ramp like this. There's not currently stairs in the game, and so you end up having to just kind of imagine things like that. But I think this would be a nice feature for this area. And then we'll do the same with this and lower this down. And so now anybody who was living within this area would have access to the university, which is really nice. And it promotes walkability, which is always super important and one of our big priorities. And so we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go like that. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side, go like that and go like that. And so now we have access, and we'll come in here and do a couple crosswalks as well, just so that the students can kind of get out of this area without having to walk all the way around, which is super important. And then I think that's probably good for horizontal paths. And there we go. And then let's go ahead and paint this in as its own little district, and we'll call this like the University City area. And then let's go ahead and see if we can choose yeah, we can't. The University City style is just blended in with the regular ones. I know there's custom theme mixers that I can choose. Maybe I'll go ahead and download one of those and we'll end up upgrading these. But I think for right now, this is going to be good. We are going to go in here though and do a high rise ban just because we really don't want any super tall buildings. We want more like mid rises, almost like mixed use with some shops in the bottom and everything. Because there isn't actually mixed use in this game though, we are going to leave some room for some commercial on the front side. And so I think we will go like that. Maybe we'll do commercial on this side, and we will still do this as residential. I think that would be good. So if we do commercial like right there, and then what we can do too is actually just do a small band of commercial on the front side so we can get like some gas stations, little ATMs and stuff. It'll be kind of interesting. I don't normally do just one row like that, but let's go ahead and see what comes in, and then we can always come back and kind of adjust it. The main goal here is to just give us a nice boost in population. And so let's go ahead and look at how far away we are. Whoa. Oh man, we are. It looks like everything is catching on fire. This is just crazy. This is normally what happens when you have this much landscaping, especially foliage. Everything just catches on fire all the time. Even if you have really good police coverage, it's still just, or fire department coverage, still catches on fire quite a bit. And so let's look at our level and see. All right, so we need one academic work, and we are 33 weeks away. So let's go ahead and pump up the speed. And then let's see if we need to give again. Yeah, so we'll give to artisanary, and then let's wait for this to grow. And I don't want to mess with this area yet, though I think our next university expansion is going to be this. And so let's look at our fire coverage. We don't have any fire watch towers yet, and that's kind of why a lot of these are still brown or red. That's why these trees are red as well. So we could definitely use one of these guys, and I think even having them next to the university would be fitting as well, since it's kind of like a tech university. And that should help. Yeah, look at that. Turn them all blue. Maybe we'll put one over here too. There we go. These things are kind of an eyesore. That's why I try to put them in more of a realistic position, as you normally don't have fire watch towers in residential areas. But I think that looks okay. And then what we can do is, let's see. So we still need some residential. We still need to do our industrial areas, but we haven't gotten any industrial demand yet. And so I don't want to jump into that yet. What we could do is start just playing around with this road layout. One of the things I want to do is build a really big plaza with like a waterfront park. So let's just kind of play around with this and see what we can get going. None of this is going to be permanent unless we really decide that we like it. And so, you know what? That's actually not bad. It is a little bit further away over here, but I think it looks pretty good. And so we could definitely turn this into a full park. And so I want to go back to this road that we used for our avenue and then come up here. And I think we are going to end up getting rid of some of this. This is kind of why I really didn't want to mess around with this too much. So we want it to be like a natural slope. I can actually go into the network multi-tool and choose this node and then go all the way back and then just hit enter. And that gives us a nice slope. And there we go. And so now we're at least kind of on the same plane as the other road. And then we'll go back into our one-way and come in over here. And I do want this to be on the ground. So I'm going to choose force ground piece. And then I'm just going to turn this the other direction since it is a one-way. And then I want another roundabout in here. So I think what we'll do, we'll take a 4-lane road and we will choose a location that's kind of in the middle. And then I'm going to go into a dirt road, go like that, and then go to the roundabout builder. And remember, we did some pretty big roundabouts for the other ones, and so I want it to be pretty sizable. And then we're just going to go back through and clean these up, and I do want these to be the same distance apart. So we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go like that, and I want these to be the same height as well. And there we go. And so now our approach should at least be a little bit better. And so we will come in here. We just need a little more space for the approach. And then go back into the freeform tool, kind of go like that, and then just slant it in. I want them to be uniformed, but also a good enough curve to where somebody getting onto the roundabout or off of it wouldn't have to like slam on the brakes. Go like that. You know what? That actually looks a lot better. I am going to go into node controller and just widen these a little bit. Not too much. I'm probably just going to go to like Yeah, it actually looks like 18 is probably too much. Maybe we'll do 15. Yeah, because then that just makes it so that people can take the turn at a little bit higher of a speed. They don't have to brake as much, but then we don't get any tearing. Then I think we'll come down here and bring this up to like 18. And then what I want to do is create an avenue again, but a little bit wider than this. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go like this and we'll go to straight. And so I think that's probably good right there. So the idea for this is for us to create a really big plaza out of this. And I think what we can do as well is maybe curve these roads in, because then I think it'll create a little more interest for us. I don't really like that either, but I think it looks a little better maybe. I think maybe we will nix that connection right there and we'll just have this come down. And then we'll create a big plaza somewhere else. So we could just do a really big plaza with this road running through it. You see this a lot in Dallas. They have this kind of design where the plaza is actually built around this road, because then we could do something actually really big. So then you have two one-way roads. So we'll come into this guy and we'll choose two 3-lane one-ways. And I'm going to make sure that I'm lined up with this guy. And then what we're going to do is just switch the directions based off of the road. So this road will go up, this next road will go down, this road will go up, and then this next road will go down. And this is one of the easiest ways that you can do basic grid pattern while also kind of maintaining your traffic at a safe level. And then we're just going to copy it on this side, and we're going to choose the same height as the other side. And there we go. And then we're going to end up turning this into a freeway on-ramp, off-ramp kind of scenario. And so I think we will end up saving that for us for an episode, just because this is going to end up being kind of difficult. We could actually try playing around with it a little bit right now, but I think this is pretty good for our basic road design. I think I will end up taking these last roads though and upgrading these to a little bit bigger of a road. Just because this would end up creating more of an arterial, which is always something that you want to do. And so this one goes down, this one would go up, this one goes down, and then this one would go up as well. I think actually for these roads, we will choose a 6-lane road. That's not a one-way. I think that would be smarter. Yeah, there you go. I think that actually looks pretty good. Maybe we'll do well, actually, we don't need a 6-lane going onto this road. So going down, going up, going down, and then going up, going down, going up. We could actually just have them going the same direction. So maybe we'll go like that and then go down, because then this would create a little more predictability with the gameplay. But I think that looks pretty good. It's a really, really basic kind of starting grid for a downtown, but we're really trying to prioritize traffic and to make sure that we don't end up in a bad situation. So I think this is going to be good. We could end up doing a nice little bridge over, but I think we're going to turn this centerpiece into a plaza. And so I do want to jump back over here to our university and see what we unlocked. I'm pretty sure. So we placed the trade school fountain, the cafeteria, the trade school gymnasium, and the trade school outdoor study. And so we're going to do the trade school library, which I think, yeah, it's actually kind of sizable. But then also the IT club, which is also another small one, kind of like the art club. So we could do the IT club over here. But then the commencement office. And so this would actually be good for us to maybe put over here somewhere, and we could create a nice little space for it. And then another statue, which is great. We could do that over here with the IT club, but then we also unlocked another school. So the School of Tourism and Travel, and this guy is huge, and it's actually bigger than the, you know what? It actually fits right there. That's perfect. I do want to turn it around, so we'll probably end up shifting it the other direction. But I think we're just going to place it to see what it looks like. Yeah, that thing is massive, but it looks good. I honestly think, that way looks good. Maybe we don't need to flip it. And I like that it has this little plaza in the middle as well. And it kind of allows us an opportunity to maybe build some stuff. It does look like, did we do high density over here? Did we? Oh, we did low density. Wow. After that whole time, we literally built this. You guys saw it before I did. You're like, wait, what is he doing? He's building low density. Wow, I can't believe we did that. That whole time we were waiting. No wonder we didn't really get a huge uptick in population. So let's jump in here, and I want to do a path on this side. And you know what? That actually looks really good. Let's see about putting in some of these guys. So we could do the trade school library right here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a separation with the park. So let's put the park down, or the statue, I believe. Yeah, the trade school academic statue. So let's put this guy right there. And then let's go back to our path. And I think it's probably going to end up being like right here. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we could actually connect this up that way and that way. And then let's put in a couple more of those seating plazas. And there we go. And then let's do these guys. We'll do one right there and one right there, just because I really like how these look, especially in this scenario. And because we are a little ways away from over here, maybe we would have another cafeteria. I think that would actually be smart. So we will put a cafeteria over here for these people going to the School of Tourism and Leisure. And then let's do another walking path. We'll continue this guy up. We can't continue that side. So maybe we'll get rid of this. And we'll just do a path on the back side. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll go like that, even though it's just redundancy. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. And then we can put in that other new building, the trade school library. Yeah, look at that. I think that looks great. And I think the IT club we could put in here as well. I kind of wish this was facing all the other direction, but I think by flipping them, it does create a little bit of interest because all these are facing this way. And so this one would be more geared the other direction. And though you can't really tell with a lot of the buildings, like which way they're supposed to be facing. And so it's really not a huge deal breaker or anything, but I think for the IT club, we'll just put it on this little corner, since this would kind of almost be like a frat house, maybe, but more like a clubhouse. Yeah, look at that. I like that, especially right on the corner. I think that's great. And then I'd really like to fit the commencement office in somewhere. We could just have it go down here, since we ended up creating this little bit of a neighborhood over here. So we could have this road wrap around, but then the commencement office would be kind of tucked in the back rather than on the main road. If we could fit it in right here, I think it would be much better. So we're going to pause it since we're doing some pretty hefty deleting at the moment. And then let's see if we can get this guy in here. Yeah, I think that looks great. It's right at the entranceway. So like if somebody was coming for a graduation, it would be just a quick right there. Wouldn't be too hard to find. This would be just a great location for something like this. Yeah, there we go. This is definitely a little bit farther than I would have liked. I think I'm going to try to tuck this in just a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then that way we still have enough room to be able to come in here and do some palm trees or something around the outside. Yeah, there we go. This would be like, a nice little commencement area. And I think we're going to do some palm trees right there. And then I think we'll do palm trees all the way around this guy. Yeah, you know what? I think this looks pretty good. I like how this turned out. And then I think we still have some room around the outsides to be able to either do a park or extend our little plaza. Like we could, let's see how it looks with the surface painter all the way around. You know what? I think that actually looks pretty interesting. It makes it almost like a large walking plaza around, especially with this little bridge here. And I think I'm going to just make that height the same. But then it kind of allows us to be able to do maybe a couple more plazas or statues or even some seating areas for people to go walking or just kind of hang out. We could also do something just like this with the planters all the way around. I just don't know if that would be too much if we end up doing that. Because I think it does look good like that. I think, especially with our current theme, maybe we'll leave it grass and then let's do some paths around and just create like a nice little park area and see what we come up with. All right. So I decided to try something else with this. If you guys, think that the other way would have definitely been better, let me know. But I wanted to create something a little different. So we have all this concrete, and then in here we have a little bit of a concrete plaza. So I think we're going to come into Surface Painter and just shift this little middle section in here. We're not going to do the whole thing though. We're just going to do this little bit just because it still creates that plaza in the middle, but then around the outside you have some green space for walking or studying or whatever, and it just creates a little bit of a difference, kind of like how we do have this in here with the curbs. And I think we could still go in here with the white curbs and clean it up a little bit, and I might end up doing that, but for right now I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure why this is. Did we have something in there? All right, and so I think that's pretty good. We got everything in here, and I really like how this turned out. I'm still kind of thinking we're missing something in this area. So I ended up putting in a little bit of foliage in these red trees just because I really felt like they were kind of weird, like there was something missing. And so it's kind of funny. I ended up zoning this thinking this path was a zoning option when it is definitely not. So I'm going to end up putting that back in, and then we are going to actually just zone this whole thing as high density, because we really need some more residential, and I really like having this here, especially with the path. So now students can just walk to school, and this would be a really nice feature. It's technically like living on campus, but you're not in the dormitories, and so you'd have a little bit more freedom, and it would just be a little bit better rather than being crammed into some dormitories like that. And so before we wrap up, I did want to go over some names that I had gotten. I had gotten a really cool name for this section. It was the green schist area, and I'm not entirely sure if I spelt that right, but I had gotten that comment from VE5VV, and so thank you so much for the lovely name. I think it's great. And so a schist is a rock that is metamorphic. And so it's definitely fitting with our volcano over here. And so I really like the suggestion. Thank you so much. If any of you guys have any other names, and that definitely switch back. And so green schist. There you go. Or schist. You have to let me know how that's actually spelled. And so if you guys enjoyed the episode, go ahead and hit that like button. It does really help me out a lot. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.